Welcome to the Film Talks podcast. Today, we're going to be looking at how streaming platforms and this whole platform economy.
hmm
I mean, have you noticed how much it's changed? Like the entire film and television industry?
It really
Yeah,
has.
it's pretty crazy to think about, right? Like, it wasn't that long ago that we were all kind of watching TV the same way, you know, at specific times, often through those big cable packages.
Right.
And now you got platforms like, I mean, everything from Netflix and Disney Plus to YouTube and even TikTok are really calling the shots when it comes to what actually gets made, how it gets out there to people, and how it all makes money.
Yeah, they've really become the gatekeepers, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. And so the big questions we're going to try to tackle today are like, how did this huge shift even happen? What does it really mean for the industry itself?
hmm
And maybe most importantly, for all of us who are, watching all this stuff, what can we expect in the future? I mean, what's coming
It's a
next?
huge shift. I mean, seismic, really. And to grasp how big it is, we need to think back to how things used to be, before streaming.
Okay, back in the day.
Exactly. Back when networks and studios had all the power. I mean, they decided what got made, when you could watch it, and a lot of times how much you had to fork over through those cable bills.
Yeah, those are the days.
If you wanted to watch a particular show or movie, you basically had two options: either wait for it to air, hope for a rerun, or eventually buy it, once it came out on VHS or DVD.
Right, or even before that, recorded on your VCR.
Exactly. It was a very controlled experience. It almost like they were dictating what you watched and when.
Yeah, it's easy to forget how limited things were back then. Like, if your favorite show happened to be on while you were at work, tough luck, unless you had that VCR. Even that was considered pretty high-tech at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
So what changed? I mean, what were the big turning points that allowed streaming to just kind of explode the way it did?
The two major things came together at the right time. First, you had this widespread availability of internet-connected devices like, laptops, smartphones, tablets, and then you had this huge leap in cloud computing technology.
So basically, the technology caught up with the idea.
Exactly. Suddenly, the infrastructure was there to deliver video content straight to people whenever they wanted it on demand. And that's when Netflix came in. They first shook things up by disrupting the whole DVD rental market with their mail order service.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But their real genius was in switching over to on-demand streaming. I mean, that was the game changer. It wasn't just about how you got the content. It was a fundamental challenge to the entire way broadcasting worked.
Right. It wasn't just a new delivery method. It was a whole new way of thinking about TV.
Exactly. Instead of waiting for scheduled programming, you could choose what to watch, when to watch it, and just binge whole seasons if you felt like it. Think about how your own viewing habits have changed. I mean, do you even remember the last time you actually planned your night around a TV show's schedule?
It does feel like a different world now. And of course, all these streaming platforms are huge businesses now, and they all have different ways of making money. I mean, it's not just as simple as paying a monthly fee anymore, is it?
Not at all. While subscriptions, or what we call SVOD subscription, video on demand, are definitely a big part of it. You've got players like Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max charging that monthly fee for unlimited access to their libraries, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so that's like the classic Netflix model, right? Pay your fee and watch as much as you want.
Exactly. And the appeal for the viewer is that you get tons of content for a recurring cost, which feels like a pretty good deal compared to paying for every movie or show individually.
Right, you pay once and you get it all, but then you've got platforms where you don't pay anything up front, like YouTube, Pluto TV, or Freevee. So how do those make money?
That's the AVOD model, advertising video on demand. They offer free content, but you have to watch ads while you're watching. YouTube's the big one here. But more and more traditional media companies are launching their own AVOD services.
Yeah.
Think about your own experience. Have you found yourself watching longer videos on YouTube lately, maybe with ads popping up? Or have you tried any of those free streaming apps that come pre-installed on smart TVs?
I definitely have.
Right, so this model works by attracting a huge audience, which then becomes valuable to advertisers.
Okay, so it's all about the eyeballs, and then there's the option to pay for specific movies or shows, right? Like if you want to rent a digital movie.
Exactly. That's TVOD, transactional video on demand. Think Amazon Prime Video or Apple TV, where you can rent or buy individual titles. This one often makes sense if there's a specific movie you want to watch that's not on your subscription services, or if you just prefer to own a digital copy. It's kind of like the old video rental store, but online.
Right, I get it. But the interesting thing is that these models aren't always separate, right? Some platforms combine them, like you might have a subscription with ads or without ads, or they might have a separate store where you can buy or rent stuff. alongside their main subscription service.
Absolutely. There's a lot of experimentation going on with pricing and different packages as the market tries to figure itself out.
It does feel like a bit of a Wild West out there. So
Yeah.
in this streaming world, who are the major players and what are their advantages?
Well, you've got this fascinating clash happening between the traditional media giants, the Disneys, the Warner Bros., the
Yeah.
Paramounts of the world, and then you've got the tech giants like Amazon, Apple, and Alphabet, which owns Google and YouTube.
Right. So it's old Hollywood versus Silicon Valley.
In a way, yeah. And while the media companies have decades of experience in creating content and telling stories, the tech companies have this one crucial advantage. They own the infrastructure.
Infrastructure. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it this way. Amazon Web Services, or AWS, is what powers a huge number of online services, including major streaming platforms like Netflix and Disney+. So while these media companies are delivering their content digitally, they're often relying on the infrastructure that's built and maintained by a tech giant.
So they're kind of renting the digital space from the tech company.
In a way, yeah. And then you have YouTube, which is deeply integrated with Google's search engine, and that gives it this huge advantage in terms of content discovery. When you search for something like a movie trailer or a clip from a TV show, YouTube videos are often right there at the top.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I always see YouTube videos in my search results.
Right. So that built-in audience and distribution network is incredibly powerful. These tech companies have the scale and the global reach that traditional studios are still trying to figure out in this streaming era. It's like owning not just the movies, but the movie theaters and the roads that lead to them.
Wow, that's a really good analogy. So we've seen this massive growth in streaming, but it does feel like things are changing again. Like we're at a crossroads. What are some of the big challenges and opportunities coming up?
Absolutely. I think we're at a point where a lot of people feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of streaming services out there. This platform fatigue is a real issue, and it's made worse by the fact that many platforms are now raising their prices.
Right, I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah, we saw Netflix cracking down on password sharing, and Disney Plus has increased prices. And while these moves are meant to boost revenue, they can make subscribers question whether they're really getting their money's worth, and they might just cancel.
Yeah, I've thought about canceling a few myself. It's tough because these platforms need to make money to keep making great content, but they also need to keep their subscribers happy.
Exactly. It's a delicate balancing act, for sure.
So they're walking a tightrope between profits and keeping us from jumping ship. Are there any potential bright spots or new developments that could shake things up again?
Definitely one exciting area is AI-driven content recommendations. Think about how often you find yourself just scrolling through endless titles trying to find something to watch.
Oh, all the time.
Right. Well, AI algorithms are getting really good at understanding your viewing habits and suggesting content that you're actually likely to enjoy.
So instead of just seeing what's popular or what the platform wants to promote,
Yeah.
I get personalized recommendations that are actually good.
Exactly. And that can lead to those aha moments where you discover a new favorite show you might never have found otherwise, which keeps you engaged and happy.
I like the sound of that. What about this trend I keep hearing about fast channels?
Yeah. Fast free ad-supported streaming TV is becoming really popular. These services offer that linear channel-based viewing experience, kind of like traditional cable, but delivered online. And without a subscription fee, think platforms like Tubi or Roku Channel. They put together channels around specific genres or themes, and you watch for free with commercials.
So it's like free cable, but online.
Pretty much, yeah. And for viewers, it's a way to access a lot of content without adding another monthly bill to their budget. It's almost like going back to a familiar way of watching TV, but with the convenience of streaming.
Interesting. And you mentioned something about interactive and immersive content, too. What's that all about?
That's where things could get really wild in the future. Imagine experiences that go beyond just passively watching a show. Virtual reality or VR could put you right in the middle of the story. Some platforms are already experimenting with interactive narratives where your choices as a viewer can actually change how the plot unfolds.
So like a choose-your-own-adventure, but for TV?
Exactly. And further down the line, AI could even be involved in creating content, maybe even generating personalized storylines based on your preferences. These technologies are still in their early stages, but they hint at a much more dynamic and engaging future for entertainment. Just imagine actually stepping inside your favorite movie. That's the kind of potential we're talking about.
So it's not just about watching anymore, it's about experiencing.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing. So just to recap, we've seen this incredible transformation from traditional broadcasting to on-demand platforms driven by technology and a change in how we consume media. We looked at the different ways these platforms make money, the power struggle between tech and media giants, and some of the exciting possibilities for the future, along with the challenges they'll face.
Absolutely. And whether you're working in film and television, a content creator, or just someone who loves watching movies and shows, understanding these dynamics is crucial for creators and businesses. It's about figuring out how to navigate this platform-dominated world to reach audiences and make money from their content. And for everyone else, it's about knowing what choices are out there, how much they cost, and how technology is shaping our entertainment experiences.
So as we wrap up, here's something to think about. With all the lines blurring between different forms of digital entertainment, streaming, video, social media, gaming, how will our very definition of watching TV change in the years to come? Will it even be a separate thing anymore?
It's a great question. The way we interact with stories and entertainment is constantly changing, and the platforms that make it all possible will have to keep adapting and innovating. It's a really fascinating time to be watching all this unfold.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's Film Talks podcast. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of streaming.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.